Welcome back, Nick Lenz Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 335 and Doubleshot number 264, I believe it is. Yeah, 264. Two trades. One, of course, is a Star Wars trade. Star Wars Volume 3, Rebel Jail. This one contains issues Star Wars. This is the second volume published by Marvel. 15 to 20, 15, 19, and annual number 1. The first thing printed in this trade is the annual, which pretty much establishes the character who does appear for the Rebel Jail storyline. I should point out the Rebel Jail storyline is really short. You want to know how long it is? It's 4 issues. Yeah, it's really quick. It takes place right after Vader down and Dr. Aphra, who was captured during Vader down. Basically, she's brought to this prison, which is in orbit of a sun, and he gets attacked by bounty hunters, which this kind of gets set up during the Vader series, who go out to rescue her. Now, I should point out who the writers are here. Now, this is quite interesting, though. Karen Gillian, who at this point was writing the Darth Vader series and currently is writing Dr. Aphra, which, by the way, the last arc for Vader does help set up the Dr. Aphra series. Karen Gillian writes the annual, with John Cassidy and Paul Mounts doing the cover art. The interior art is done by Angel Guzzi, I think that's how you pronounce the person's name. Jason Aaron does all the regular Star Wars issues, all 15, 19. 15, I'll get to in a minute of what it is. The artwork and covers by Matthew Mayhew. The artwork for issues 16 and 19. The interior is done by Leo Yu, who also does the covers for issues 18 and 19 with Sunny Gao. Terry and Rachel Dawson does the covers for issues 16 and 17. The Rebel Jail storyline is really neat. The annual just introduces one character who does return for the storyline, and he gets sort of, well, it does explain, well, the annual was his first appearance, and pretty much they threw it in here just to explain who the heck he is. People who did not read the annual, because knowing Marvel, they charge $5 for the annual. The annual stuff was really good, by the way. What is issue 15? Issue 15 is chapter 2 of the Journal of Obi-Wan Kenobi. It takes place some time after the last one, which came in, I believe, was issue 13. Yeah, this is the second one they've done. Actually, it was issue 12. The first chapter came, I believe, after the second arc, and they did another one, and then there's another one upcoming really soon. I believe next month or two, I believe it is. Now, by March, it's up to issue 29, but I think the reason why they decided to do a quick little 4-parter is simply because maybe Jason Aaron need to have basically a very small storyline before he decided to build it up again to do a really big, another epic one. Something similar to that of Vader Down, but not a grand scale. But this is just really good. This is just fun. Oh, and Han and Luke just do whatever they want. Yeah, it's good. I get this book a 9 out of 10. This is really good. Next is Daredevil Yellow. The entire 6-issue miniseries by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. I should point out that the series, when you read it, and I reread it recently, I read the series a couple times, it has the similar feelings. It has a similar tone to that of Batman Year One, basically detailing Daredevil's origins, his early days. From the look of the series, like the first couple issues take place during issue 1, and beginning with issues 2 through 6, it's kind of like a run through of the first of issues 2 through, I believe it's issue 8. Yes, it kind of ends with him putting on the red costume. Yeah, it just has the other issue take place in the background. You have him fighting Electro, the Owl, Purple Man, the Gladiator, the Matador. Yeah, it's really good, and I believe it's issue 2, I believe it is, when they introduced Karen Page. They kind of, now, despite the fact this takes place during those first 8 issues, there is a couple hiccups with this. One, of course, Karen Page is using a modern day computer, which desktops like that were not, the style of this was not used until the late 90s, especially for the size of the monitor. But people didn't start using computers like this until, I say, the 80s. And the phone is completely different to how phones looked back in the 60s. Here's I know what phones look like because I saw the film Man from U.N.C.L.E. and they look really bizarre. This phone looks like it came directly from the 90s, especially with the whole core thing. And the miniseries stuff came out in 2001. One thing I'm kind of glad with is the fact Daredevil was not using a cell phone, which that would be really dumb for his early days. Heck, if you look at Batman Year One, heck, even the film, I'm very happy with the film that did this, where they did not use a frickin' cell phone. Now, despite the fact that Daredevil, now there was also Daredevil Netflix series, despite the fact that it's an adaptation of The Man Without Fear, I kind of feel as though that Loeb allowed me to use this miniseries, some elements of it, for they kind of used it for Daredevil Season 1, basically the stuff with Karen Page. A little bit of, not everything per se, but some of it. The Purple Man who appears in here for a few pages, he's pretty much defeated the same way he was back in Daredevil number 7. Daredevil just took a green flag and wraps him up with it, covers him up, so basically he can't use his powers, per se. But this is a great miniseries, per se. I am getting Spider-Man Blue from the library, so I can review that. So, I'm trying to also review everything that, all the major stuff that Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale did, the good stuff for Jeff Loeb, because when people think of Jeff Loeb nowadays, I mean, yeah, people do enjoy the stuff he does with Tim Sale. Those are all good. But when people think of Jeff Loeb by himself, it's his worst work he's ever done. And a lot of people are agreeing with this. The worst series he's ever done was Ultimatum. The series are great artwork, but terrible writing. Especially of how characters were grotesquely killed in that miniseries. And a couple friends of mine reviewed the miniseries, and they were swearing like crazy because of how awful the series was. Me, I'm still planning on reviewing it sometime soon in the near future, but it all depends upon for the Ultimate Classics when I get a chance to do those. But as for this, 9.5 out of 10. I'll show off some artwork in here. Here we go. Yeah. I was supposed to point out one of the secretaries is a mother who tries for secretary positions before they get Karen Page. And I'm like, why would Jeff Loeb write this woman this way? This is little boy. He accidentally pukes on Foggy Thompson by accident. And then she says, "You're getting a severe beating when we get home." I'm like, really? Really, Loeb? Why in the world would you throw an implied child abuse? Why? Just because he did something by accident? Is that implying that the kid's gonna get a spanking? That could be. Or could it be also that the woman plans to slap her own child? Slap him or do whatever. But saying that she's getting a severe beating, that is implied child abuse. Right there. Anybody who has heard terms like that, severe beating, per se. Now, Frank Miller retconned it, and this was later undone, by the way, that battling Jack Murdock was abusive toward toward his son. Yeah, despite the fact Matt does love his father. But that was a dumb retcon. And pretty much right after Miller left Daredevil, the succeeding writers actually took that out of continuity. Because even the Marvel editors knew for a fact that was stupid. I mean, come on. Retconning battling Jack Murdock to be an abusive father? Really? all because he basically succeeded in fights. So basically, battling Jack Murdock is abusive toward his own son. In many other versions of Daredevil's backstory, battling Jack Murdock never hit his son at all. He never hit young Matt at all. And yet, for some reason, never explained, of why in the world Frank Miller wrote it that he was abusive. Yeah. But despite that, they do show battling Jack's death, and some of the elements in here I could definitely see they definitely did use for the Daredevil Netflix show. Okay, they did this mainly for season 1. They use elements, but it's not pretty much like adaptation of the whole thing. I would say it's a combination of both Man Without Fear, even though it's publicly accepted that they got that, and I would say also this too, because it kind of feels a similar way to Daredevil season 1, even though that he never actually wore this this yellow costume. Now, in case you're wondering who is wearing this costume now, is Daredevil wearing this anymore? No. He's not even wearing the red costume, but basically his costume is a black costume with 2 D's on it. Yeah. Daredevil's wearing his most classic costume is his red costume. Now, this costume, believe it or not, they actually combined this one with an old Wolverine costume for an outfit for D-Man, for Demolition Man to wear back in the 80s and 90s. It was a really bizarre looking costume. But this is still good. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I'm not giving it 9.5. Because I think the series is really good. Only because of that one page implied child abuse. Really, Loeb. Why in the world would you do that for? Just why? I mean, yeah, the series is good. But that one thing, I think people should talk about that a little bit more. I mean, come on, Loeb. Implied child abuse. Good God. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode 336 and Doubleshot number 265. This is episode 2. This is Doubleshot 264. Okay, so next one's 265. Okay. But till then, I will see you there.